To prepare for linear functions and linear equations in two variables, you need to know how to find the intercepts of an equation. The x-intercepts are the points where the graph crosses the x-axis. If you recall, on a coordinate system, for a point to be on the x-axis, the y-coordinate must be 0. So these are points of the form some number 0. The y-intercepts are where the graph crosses the y-axis. So on a coordinate system, to cross the y-axis means that the x value has to be 0. When we are given an equation and we need to find the x and y intercepts, we will replace either x or y for 0 and solve for the other coordinate. In example 1, we want to find the intercepts of the equation y equals 3/4 x plus 6. So to find the x-intercepts, we will let y equal 0 and solve for x. This gives us 0 equals 3/4 x plus 6. To eliminate the fraction, if you don't like the fraction, you can multiply each side by 4. And that's equivalent to multiplying each term by 4. That will give us 0 equals 4 times 3/4 is just 3x plus 24. Subtract 24 from each side to get negative 24 equals 3x, and now divide by 3, so negative 8 equals x. This tells us the x-intercept is a point negative 8, 0. Now to find the y-intercept, we let x be 0 and solve for y. In the equation, we get y equals 3/4 times 0 plus 6. But 3/4 times 0 is 0, and 0 plus 6 is 6. So the y-intercept is the ordered pair 0, 6. Part B is 5x minus y equals negative 5. I'm going to make a chart on this page to show you what I typically do. To find the intercepts, we let x equal 0, solve for y, let y equal 0, solve for x. If x is equal to 0, we get 5 times 0 minus y equals negative 5. 5 times 0 is 0, so that's negative y equals negative 5. Be careful to bring down the negative in front of the y. Now we divide by negative 1, so y equals 5. Now when we replace y with 0, we get 5x minus 0 equals negative 5. So 5x equals negative 5. Dividing by 5 gives us x equals negative 1. So we have the points 0, 5, and negative 1, 0. The x-intercept is the negative 1, 0, and the y-intercept is a 0, 5. In the equation 4x minus 3y equals 0, again, let x be 0, solve for y, let y be 0, solve for x. When x is 0, our equation becomes 4 times 0 minus 3y equals 0. But 4 times 0 is 0. We're just left with negative 3y equals 0. Then we divide by that coefficient of negative 3. But 0 divided by negative 3 is 0. Now if y is 0, notice that we're going to get 4x minus 3 times 0 equals 0. But 3 times 0 is 0. 4x equals 0. And dividing by 4, we still get 0. So this is a case where the x and y-intercept are both the origin of 0, 0. And that is a case if our constant term is 0, then your x and y-intercepts will both be the origin. The equation y equals 6, if you recognize that this is the equation of a horizontal line, it's going to help you out here. If you know that this is a horizontal line that crosses the y-axis at 6, then you can see that there's going to be no x-intercept, and the y-intercept is 0, 6. Now if you didn't recognize that, you can think about y equals 6 as ax plus by, or y, equals 6. In other words, the a is 0. That's 0x plus y equals 6. So then if we replace x with 0, right, we will get 0 plus y equals 6, or y equals 6. If we replace y with 0, we would get 0x, which is just 0, equals 6, which is a contradiction. So that tells us there is no x-intercept. (2x plus 4 equals 0). That's a case with only the x variable. If we isolate the x variable, we get 2x equals negative 4. Dividing by 2 gives us x equals negative 2. This is a vertical line through negative 2 on the x-axis. So we can see here that there is an x-intercept. It is negative 2, 0. But it never crosses the y-axis, so there's no y-intercept. And again, that x equals negative 2, we can think of it as x plus 0y equals negative 2. So replacing y with 0 gives us x equals negative 2. But if we replace x with 0, we get a contradiction. So that would tell us there's no y-intercept. If you have any questions on how to find the x and y-intercepts of a linear equation in two variables, please contact me.